Okay, so what you bring to class with you will depend on what you would like to do. A lot of people like to start with basic drawing and learn a little bit about that, measuring, shading, edges, textures, things like that, and then advance into painting. For ideas on art supplies, go to my website, click on students, and then art supply information. Everything is listed on this page that we kind of suggest, but I'm going to go to this printable list on our downloads page, and I'm going to click on materials, download, and we'll go over a few things. If you want to skip drawing and just start painting, a lot of people like to do that. That's fine too. Might run into a few issues down the road, but some people kind of learn better on the job. So for basic drawing, you would definitely need a sketchbook. Just regular number 2 pencils is fine. You don't need anything fancy. You can get fancy pencils if you want. Harder pencils, softer pencils, but not really necessary, I don't think. So that would be the bare essentials. A nice sketchbook. We do sell and stock sketchbooks at the studio for $12. Vine charcoal is a nice medium for drawing. It works a little differently than graphite and pencils, so that would be an alternative. If you want to do the vine charcoal, you're going to invest another $15, $20 on some, I would recommend soft vine charcoal. A kneaded eraser is a squishy kind of eraser, and specifically you'll need newsprint, that is recycled newspaper. Those would be some great drawing options, but the very basics would be some kind of a nice sketchbook and some pencils. Other optional drawing supplies would include graphite sticks are nice for shading in big areas, compressed charcoals. Conti is a waxy kind of a charcoal. It doesn't erase. You just can, you can get darker and darker, but you can't get lighter. Some people like having a nice firm drawing board to clamp their materials to. And there's all kinds of high quality drawing papers. If you want to paint, your first big decision would be, oil, acrylic, or watercolor. A lot of people think watercolor is the easiest because it sounds easy, and when you see a nice watercolor, it looks fairly easy, but I don't think it's as easy as oil or acrylic because it's pretty unforgiving. It's a beautiful medium, but it's not very forgiving, so it's a little bit challenging. Oils and acrylics often come in student grade and professional grade, the difference being the price and the amount of pigment you get for your money. It's the old story, you get what you pay for. Beginning painters, you really don't need professional grade, but you can get it if you want. So if you were to only buy 5 or 6 colors, I would do one of 2 things. One, most good manufacturers like Gamblin, Winsor Newton, they're going to offer little kits of 6 to 8 starter colors. Those kits will usually include these colors. So you can just get a little starter set. If you're buying tubes individually, these would be the 5 or 6 tubes I would recommend. When I go outside to paint and I want to keep my load really light, this is pretty much what I take with me. Phthalo blue, cad yellow medium, alizarin crimson, burnt umber, and titanium white. You can get to about, I'd say 90% of the colors out there with that combination. If you have a little bit bigger budget, you could add to that ultramarine blue, cad lemon, cad red light, and ivory black. So every other color on that list is the same as the first list. Earth colors are nice to have, but you can make them with the colors we mentioned: Naples yellow, burnt raw umber, burnt sienna, raw umber. Those are all nice to have. If you're coming to the studio to paint, you're going to need paper towels. You're going to need a silica oil brush if you are working with oil. That's a special brush to contain your mineral spirits and clean your brushes. You cannot use any other mineral spirits except Gamsol by the company Gamblin. We only let that in the studio because it's the safest. You will need a palette. I highly recommend you get a nice little palette knife, a couple bucks for a nice metal palette knife. And I would get one that has a handle like this and then a little dip like that and then the blade. Brushes, sizes 2, 4s, and 6s usually. You can just get a quality bristle brush. At Plaza Art in Kenwood, they have their own brand of synthetic brushes, which are pretty nice. We use Robert Simmons brushes. My favorite brushes are rosemary, ivory, extra long flats, and long filberts. I get those from a company in Texas. Now that's not very expensive, but a very high-end, very nice synthetic brush. You will also need some stretched canvas or canvas paper, and I recommend brush soap for cleaning your brushes. Optional supplies: oil like Stand Oil, Galquid, or Liquin are nice to slow things down. Sandpaper is nice to have around, and some people like to use brush shaper. To keep my brushes in good shape, I clean them really good with the brush soap, and then I just dry them with a paper towel and put brush soap paste into the bristles and form them with my fingers. Acrylic painters are going to need basically the same stuff: paper towels, brushes, stretched canvas, brush soap, optional sandpaper, and brush supplies. There's a great art supply store in Kenwood named Plaza. If you are going south on 71 and you get off at the Kenwood exit near the mall, instead of going right to the mall, you'd go left. I use an online supplier, dickblick.com. They have all these supplies and shipping is inexpensive. Hope that helps.